The Galactic Council hall was silent. More than 100 alien species were present, yet no one spoke. The lights above glowed softly, reflecting off tall crystal walls. At the center of the hall stood a single human. He was calm. That alone made the room uneasy. The human did not wear armor. He carried no weapon. His hands rested loosely at his sides, and his eyes moved slowly across the chamber, observing everything. He showed no fear. No anger. No respect either. Across from him floated Kratil, the most powerful telepath in known space. Kratil had entered the minds of emperors, warlords, and ancient machines. He had crushed rebellions without firing a single shot. With a touch of thought, he could pull secrets, memories, and lies from any being. No mind had ever stopped him. Yet today, something was different. Before the human arrived, the council had gathered in private. The discussion was short, tense, and filled with nervous glances. When Kratil volunteered to scan the human, several council members reacted at once. "Do not do it," one elder said. Kratil had laughed inside his mind. Fear from lesser beings meant nothing to him. "Humans are not like the others," another voice warned. "Their minds are dense." Dense. The word amused him. What could be dense enough to trouble a master telepath? Now, as Kratil looked at the human, he felt a strange resistance. Not a wall. Not a shield. It was more like standing near a deep ocean and sensing its weight before touching the water. The human noticed the silence. "You called me here," the human said evenly. His voice was steady, almost polite. "So say what you want." The council did not answer. Kratil drifted closer, curiosity rising. He expected panic, or at least confusion. Instead, the human met his gaze without flinching. No fear response. No mental noise. That was impossible. Most minds screamed in some way when a telepath drew near. This one did not. Kratil, a council member said carefully, "Observe only. No mental contact." The telepath paused. He felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. But pride quickly burned it away. "I will only glance," Kratil replied. "A surface touch. Nothing more." The human tilted his head slightly. "They told you not to," the human said. "Not as a threat. Not as a plea. Just a statement." Kratil felt irritation rise. Warnings were given to protect the weak. He was not weak. He reached out. The moment his mind brushed the human's thoughts, the air in the council hall seemed to tighten. Lights flickered. Several delegates gasped as if a pressure wave had passed through them. Kratil froze. This was not a mind. It was a storm. Before he could pull back, something vast stirred on the other side of the contact, old, heavy, and filled with layers upon layers of experience. The human did not move. He did not resist. He simply stood there, eyes steady, as if he had expected this. Kratil felt his control slipping. And for the first time in his long existence, the greatest telepath in the galaxy realized one terrible truth. The warning had not been for the human. It had been for him. The moment Kratil tried to pull away, he failed. His mind was still connected. What he had touched was not a single thought, not a memory floating near the surface. It was something deep, wide, and endless. The human mind did not open slowly. It surged forward. Noise exploded. Not sound, but feeling. Pain. Heat. Fear. Then calm. Then pain again. Kratil staggered in midair. His mental balance broke, and the smooth control he had mastered for centuries began to slip. He tried to focus, to organize what he was sensing, but the human mind did not follow any pattern he knew. Images hit him without order. A blue planet under a red sky. fire falling from above. Small human figures running, helping each other, screaming, surviving. Kratil tried to block it. The memories did not stop. He saw humans standing against larger enemies. Machines. Beasts. Other species. He saw them lose again and again, and still stand back up. Their minds carried scars, but those scars were sharp, like blades. This was not weakness. This was pressure turned into strength. The council chamber faded from Kratil's awareness. All he could feel was the human mind pressing back, not attacking, not defending, simply existing with unbearable weight. Impossible, Kratil thought. No species should hold this much inside. He tried to retreat again. His telepathic grip shook. Something in the human mind shifted, and for a brief moment, Kratil felt a direct emotion. Not anger. Not hate. Acceptance. The human had already lived with this storm. Every day. Every moment. That truth struck harder than any weapon. The human finally spoke, his voice calm, almost gentle. You feel it now, the human said. Kratil wanted to answer. He could not. His thoughts were breaking apart, scattered by memories that were not his. He felt loneliness. Loss. Hope that refused to die. He felt humans laughing in the face of death and crying over fallen friends. He felt love strong enough to hurt. Telepaths were trained to observe, not feel. This mind forced him to feel everything. The lights in the chamber flickered again. Several council members collapsed into their seats, affected by the psychic pressure leaking from Kratil's failing control. Medical drones activated automatically. Kratil, disengage, the council elder shouted. He tried. The human took one small step forward. That step felt like an avalanche inside Kratil's mind. Suddenly, the memories shifted. They slowed. Focused. Kratil saw one clear scene. A human standing alone after everything was lost. No ships. No allies. No hope. And still, standing. The message was simple. Clear. Terrifying. Humans did not survive because they were strong. They survived because they refused to stop. Kratil screamed. The sound tore through the chamber as his mental defenses shattered. His body dropped from the air, hitting the floor hard. Sparks flashed from the neural bands around his head as they overloaded and burned out. The human broke eye contact and stepped back. The pressure vanished. Silence crashed down like a broken wave. Kratil lay still, eyes wide, breathing uneven, his telepathic field gone. Doctors rushed forward, scanning in panic. The council stared at the human. He looked tired now. Not injured. Not angry. Just tired. I told them to warn you, the human said quietly. No one answered. Because every being in the chamber now understood something they could never forget. The human mind was not meant to be read. It was meant to be survived. Kratil did not move. For several long seconds, the greatest telepath in the galaxy lay on the cold floor of the council hall, his eyes open but unfocused. The soft hum of medical drones filled the silence, their lights scanning his body again and again. No psychic response, one drone reported. That is impossible, a council member whispered. He is psychic response. The human stood a few steps away, hands still relaxed at his sides. He watched quietly, not with fear, not with pride, but with the same calm awareness he had shown since arriving. Medical teams surrounded Kratil. Neural bands were removed from his head, scorched and useless. His breathing was shallow, uneven, as if his body no longer trusted his mind to guide it. Kratil, an elder said, voice tight. Can you hear us? There was a weak reaction. Kratil's fingers twitched. A sound escaped his throat, half breath, half broken word. Too much, he murmured. The chamber reacted at once. Shock rippled through the council. Kratil had never spoken like this before. He had always been precise, controlled, confident. Now he sounded fragile. "What did you see?" one delegate asked, unable to stop themselves. Kratil's eyes shifted slowly. For a moment, they met the human's gaze. Instantly, his body tensed, and his heart rate spiked. "Do not," he whispered. "Do not touch them." The medical drones adjusted their scans. One of them paused. "Telepathic pathways are damaged," it announced. "Not destroyed. Suppressed." "Suppressed?" another voice echoed. The human finally spoke again. "He didn't break," the human said. "He hit a limit." The council turned toward him. "You did this," an elder accused, though there was no strength behind the words. The human shook his head slowly. "No," he replied. "He did." Silence followed. Kratil's breathing steadied slightly. His eyes closed, then opened again. He looked confused, like someone waking after a long fall. "I thought I was alone," he said softly. "In my mind, I mean." No one interrupted him. "I touched their thoughts," Kratil continued. "And I understood something too late." His voice shook. "The human mind is not built to be clean. It is built to carry weight." Images flashed behind his eyes even now. Pain stacked upon pain. Memories layered over memories. Loss turned into drive. Fear reshaped into control. "I felt their history," he whispered. "They do not forget suffering. They keep it." A council member leaned forward. "As a weapon?" Kratil swallowed. "As fuel." That word settled heavily over the chamber. The human shifted his stance slightly. "Not defensive. Just tired." "We don't train our minds for telepaths," the human said. "We train them to live." Kratil flinched at the sound of his voice, then forced himself to listen. "They told you not to read us," the human went on. "Because when you look inside, you don't just see thoughts. You feel every time we failed and kept going anyway." The council processed this in silence. One elder accessed restricted archives. His skin tone darkened as data scrolled past his eyes. "Records show repeated human extinction-level events," he said slowly. "Plagues. Wars. Planetary disasters. And survival rates beyond predicted limits," another added. Kratil closed his eyes. "That is what broke me," he said. "Not their violence. Not their anger." He opened his eyes again, voice barely audible. "It was their endurance." The medical drones finished stabilizing him. But something essential was missing. The psychic presence that once filled the room was gone. Kratil felt it clearly. His gift was silent. The council realized the truth at the same time. No weapon had harmed him. No attack had touched him. He had simply looked too closely at a human mind. And paid the price. Kratil was moved to a recovery platform at the center of the chamber. The medical drones hovered close, adjusting fields and monitors, but none of them could restore what had been lost. His telepathic presence was gone. The silence around him felt unnatural, like a missing sound no one could name. The council gathered again. This time, they did not sit comfortably. "The incident is contained," an elder announced, though his voice lacked confidence. "No further mental contact will be attempted." All eyes turned to the human. He stood where he always had, not restrained, not guarded. The guards posted nearby kept their distance, their weapons lowered but ready, unsure what they were protecting themselves from. A senior archivist stepped forward. "We have accessed sealed records," she said. "Human classification files that were hidden even from this council." Murmurs spread across the chamber. These records were locked for a reason, she continued. Humans are not dangerous because of strength or technology alone. The archivist paused, then spoke the word carefully. They are dangerous because they adapt emotionally. Kratil listened, eyes half open. The archivist displayed images in the air. Human cities rebuilt after destruction. Children learning beside ruins. Soldiers returning home, broken but alive. Where other species suppress pain, she said, humans absorb it. They process it. They reshape it. A council member frowned. That would destroy most minds. Yes, she replied. It often does. The human did not react. Those who survive, the archivist went on, become something else. Kratil's breathing tightened. The memories he had seen now made sense. They do not erase fear, he whispered. They live with it. The council turned to him. You have experience in mental resilience, an elder said. Explain what happened. Kratil struggled to sit upright. A drone helped him gently. When I touched the human mind, he said slowly, I expected chaos or emptiness. I found structure built from damage. He searched for the right words. Imagine a building, he continued, constructed not despite the cracks, but because of them. The chamber remained silent. Their thoughts overlap, Kratil said. Memories sit beside instincts. Pain exists next to calm. None of it is filtered. The human finally spoke again. We don't get to turn it off, he said. So we learn to carry it. The council absorbed this quietly. A strategist leaned forward. If human minds are unreadable, then telepathic control is impossible. Yes, Kratil replied. Worse. Attempting it causes damage. The strategist's skin color shifted in alarm. Then invasion strategies. Invalid, the archivist interrupted. Any species relying on psychic domination would collapse. The council grew uneasy. Kratil looked at the human again, this time with effort, not fear. I felt your will, he said. It is not loud. It is not sharp. He paused. It is heavy. The human nodded slightly. Because it's been tested, he said. A long silence followed. Finally, the High Elder stood. The galaxy has made a dangerous assumption, he said. We believed humans were mentally simple because they lacked psychic ability. He looked at Kratil. In truth, they lack it because their minds evolved differently. The elder faced the chamber. We did not forbid mind reading of humans to protect them. He turned to the human. We did it to protect ourselves. The realization settled deeply across the council. Kratil closed his eyes, exhausted. In all his years of power, he had never feared a mind. Now he understood. The human mind was not a door. It was a battlefield. And humans were the survivors. The council hall felt different now. No one spoke loudly. No one moved without purpose. The air was heavy, not with fear, but with understanding. Every species present felt it, the quiet weight left behind by the truth. The human stood alone at the center. No chains had been placed on him. No guard stood close. After what had happened, no one believed force would help. Kratil rested on the recovery platform nearby. His body was stable, but his eyes showed something new. He was awake, alert, and permanently changed. The High Elder stepped forward. Human, he said carefully, your presence here was meant to answer questions. The human met his gaze. And now, the human asked. Now, the elder replied, we realize we were asking the wrong ones. A quiet signal passed through the chamber. Holographic displays activated, spreading outward like ripples. Across them appeared reports, data pulled from every corner of the galaxy. Psychic invasions failed. Mind control attempts collapsed. Telepathic species reported confusion, pain, and loss of ability when dealing with humans. The pattern was clear. We believed power meant control, the elder said. Your kind proves otherwise. The human said nothing. Kratil forced himself to sit upright. Every movement was difficult, but he needed to speak. I was proud, he said slowly. I believed no mind could resist me. He paused, choosing his words. When I touched the human mind, I did not find resistance, he said. I found acceptance. That is what broke me. The council listened closely. They do not deny what they are, Kratil continued. They do not erase pain. They do not forget fear. His voice tightened. They walk with it. Silence followed. The human finally spoke again. We're not special, he said. We just don't stop. The simplicity of the word struck harder than any speech. A strategist stepped forward. If conflict arises, she asked, how should the galaxy treat humans? The human looked around the chamber. Like people, he answered. Not puzzles. Not weapons. The elder nodded slowly. Then let it be recorded, he declared. Human minds are classified beyond psychic access. Any attempt to read, alter, or control them is forbidden. The words echoed through the hall. Furthermore, the elder continued, humans will no longer be approached as a lesser species. Kratil turned his head toward the human. With effort, he lowered it. It was not a gesture of fear. It was respect. The human noticed and inclined his head slightly in return. No words were needed. Moments later, the council session ended. Delegates departed quietly, already spreading the message across stars and systems. One warning repeated again and again. Do not invade humans. Do not control humans. Do not read their minds. The human walked toward the exit. As he reached the doorway, he paused. You'll recover, he said to Kratil. Just not the way you were. Kratil managed a weak smile. Neither will the galaxy, he replied. The human left. Long after he was gone, the council hall remained silent. The galaxy had learned something rare. Strength was not loud. Power was not dominance. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing in the universe was a mind that had been tested, broken, and chosen to keep going anyway. And humanity had survived its own battlefield.